Hi, I'll be sharing with you the first gift in this book, Say Goodbye for Now. And this first gift showed up on page 109. And in this part of the story, the one of the characters is a little boy. He was injured by other people, and being that he was sick, this other main character, which is a doctor, was helping take care of him. And in the middle of the night, the little boy went to the bathroom and saw blood in his urine. So the father was very worried, and they went to speak to the doctor. And the doctor was woke up in the middle of the night and was wearing something very skimpy, well, like a night outfit, and it wasn't that good of an idea for her to be wearing that. So basically, because of that reason, the father of the little boy handed over a little blanket to the to the doctor. So because of that, I'm guessing this is actually a little blanket. So I'm gonna read the last part of this book. So here it say, okay, I think I'm gonna start writing here. Her second revelation was the fact that she was not bothered to put on a robe. She was sitting on the edge of the twin bed wearing only a short nightgown. Calvin stood over her wearing only his boxer shorts and sleeveless undershirt. Calvin is the father. So, and her is obviously, we talk about the doctor. She looked down at her own exposed leg. Calvin reached over to the other twin bed and grabbed the thin blanket, pulling it toward them. He half draped it over her lap, half handed it to her to do the same. So basically, this part was where the sticky was, and it was so thin. At first I thought I got the wrong page. I thought it was page 190. And I was like, where's my sticky for page 190? And then I realized it's actually page 109. So this was where the sticky was, and I only have this much on it. So I'm gonna open this gift. Let's see what's in here. It's this long cylinder, and I'm guessing it is a thin blanket also, or a thin cloth of some kind. It will make more sense. Or maybe I should just rip here. I don't like ripping like it's too much. And I don't have a scissor here right now, which is why I'm ripping like this. Okay. See. Well, see, I don't have to take off the other part. Maybe I can take it out through here. It is a cloth here, so it may be really a thin blanket. Let's see if we shook it out. Nope. And I don't want to unravel this whole thing. But they really packed it pretty tightly in here. Let's see. I was able to finally nudge out some of it. So I'm gonna see if I can do this. I'm gonna use the help of my toe. Okay, there we go. Ew. It looks like well, if it was longer, I would have thought it was a scarf. But it's a very short. It's like only this long. But it's enough to, like, cover my legs a little. I think I could use this for, like, but it's a nice material. I feel bad if I use this as like a picnic blanket thingy. But it's cute. I like this pattern. This pattern also reminds me of a very popular brand, like Burberry or something. It's kind of cute. And it's very soft material. Really nice. Well, I will figure out what I could use this for. But it's really nice and soft. Alright, I can't wait to use it until my next gift. And if you never read this book, I suggest you to pick it up because it's actually been a really good book so far. So have a good night. Hi, so I'm going to be sharing with you the gifts that I got from page 211 and page 231. So I read past those pages, and I'm excited to share with you what gifts I got for those pages. And on page 211. The girl, Dr. Lucy, has just went to the guy's house, Calvin's house, to pick up a few things for Justin. And in that house, as he was looking at things to bring back to give Justin to change into, she saw a photo frame. And that is what I believe this gift is actually a photo frame of Justin, his dad Calvin, and their dead mother's, well, Justin's dead mother's photo. And I'm going to read this paragraph about how she came upon it. She said, as she worked, her eyes fell on a photo. It was in a wooden frame, carefully carved and sanded, possibly homemade. It was a photo of Calvin and a woman she could only imagine to be his late wife. She was slight and pretty, with skin almost a perfect match for his, wearing a light summer dress and looking up at him with adoration, which he returned. So it looks like this is the scene where Dr. Lucy found the photo frame, and that's what I'm assuming this gift is. And the other page I read, which was 231st, in this little section down here, she was getting a message. Dr. Lucy was getting a message from a friend of Calvin's, and in that moment she was making coffee. So I believe 231 is actually coffee. And when I touch it, the smell of coffee actually comes out. So I'm actually thinking it is coffee. So I'm going to read this part. It says, she moved around the kitchen in silence for a minute or two, setting up the coffee to percolate. She wondered if William knew there was something between Calvin and herself. She can't imagine Calvin would have told him straight out, not after working with him for only a few days. But people know a thing at a number of different levels. So I mentioned coffee here, so I'm assuming it is coffee. So I'm going to open it, and we will see if my predictions are correct. So on the outside of this gift, you actually see a little boy with the dog. So I'm assuming this is Pete with the dog now named Prince. So I'm going to open this, and let's see if I was right that it was a wood frame. It looks like it is a frame. I was right. This kind of lighting is a little hard to see, but you can see this is definitely a frame. I was right. This is a frame. This is a nice wooden frame, and of a woman and a man. So it looks like they do look at each other's eye as if they were in love. So they were very good at trying to portray exactly what was in the scene, and I said they did a pretty good job. And this is a nice looking wooden frame. I am debating which photo of mine I may use it for, since, you know, I could think of a good use for it. And here's the page 231. And I should be correct. This should be a bag of coffee. And I don't really drink coffee, so if it is, I'll probably give it to my boyfriend or my brother, either one of them, since they both drink coffee. And it is a bag of Thomas coffee. Yeah, these are powdered. Yeah, this is a powder, not like actual beans. So, but even though I don't drink it, I can always give it to someone I know to drink. And this little pouch is pretty cute. So that's it for the gifts I got from this book. There is one more gift in page, no, actually two gifts, 310, and the other one I think is 339. So I still have a while to go, and I'm gonna continue reading to enjoy my book, and that's it. Hi, I have just finished reading this book, and the last two gifts of this book was page 310 and page 339. Both of these scenes were very important to the whole story, and I really liked it how the story ended. And as you can see, this is actually from the first gift of this book, and I really like it. It's just that I can't figure out what I could use it for, except maybe a little picnic cloth, or use for taking my videos as a background, because it's actually quite nice and it has a nice pattern. So on page 310, what was so important about this scene is Dr. Lucy and Calvin were both following an very important Supreme Court case in regard to interracial marriages, and basically they were following it, and then I think this letter looking thing, I had to sit open to make it easier for me to open with my one hand, is actually the article in regard to the Supreme Court case between interracial marriage against the state Virginia. So I'm gonna, and this is where the sticky was, I'm gonna just read this paragraph. And here is a wait, actually, should I read it from a little beginning? No, actually, I'll just read this part. She gestured toward the article. "What does it say?" Pete asked, his brow imitating her own. She dropped her eyes to the article again and scanned quickly. "It's disappointing, but it's not all bad. The Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals upheld the state's miscegenation law. That's the bad part. The good news is that the court also set aside the original conviction of the couple. It says a sentence requiring the defendants to leave the state is unreasonable, but you were hoping they will make it legal?" "Yes, but we can't. But we don't live in Virginia." "I know, but sometimes case laws is like dominoes. One law falls in one state and other people in other states can cite that decision to challenge the remaining laws. I'm not saying it will happen anytime soon, or even that it will happen at all, just that Calvin and I have been following it." So, basically, it ended right here at she gestured toward the article. So I'm guessing this is the article. So I'm gonna open it now. And I was right. This is basically the article. So I'm going to read it. "The crime of being married. A Virginia couple fights to overturn an old law against miscegenations." So this is I think this was the couple in that lawsuit. And I believe this lawsuit is this case actually was taken from history, that there actually was this case. So this should be Mr. and Miss Lovely. That's the name. She is a Negro. He is white. They are married. This puts them in a kind of legal purgatory in their home state of Virginia, which specifically forbids interracial marriage. Last week, Mildred and Richard Loving lost one more round in a 7-year legal battle when the Virginia Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the state's anti-miscegenation law. Once again, they and their 3 children were faced with the loss of home and livelihood. Also, there was 3 children in that family. I didn't know that. But Lovings were born and raised in the isolated hill country called Caroline County, north of Richmond, where there has always been an easygoing tolerance on the race question. It stirred a little fuss when the couple
culminated a long and agitating courtship by traveling to Washington, D.C. to get married in 1958. But 5 weeks later, the county sheriff routed them out of bed at 2 a.m. and took them off to jail. A local judge handed down a year's sentence, but suspended it if they agreed to leave the state immediately and stay away for 25 years. Badly frightened and unaware of their right of appeal, the Livings lived 5 years of hand-to-mouth exile in Washington. Even so, they were rearrested when they returned for a visit to Mildred's family. Released on bail, they wrote a letter to then Attorney General Robert Kennedy asking for help. This led to the American Civil Librarians Union to take an interest in their case. The Lovings decided to take permanent residence in Virginia and fight. Now their case will return to federal court, where Loving versus Virginia may well become the next big landmark in civil rights.
You have a page number on it, 85. So this is really, really interesting, and it fits the story really well. And even though it's only a piece of paper, I can't really do anything with it, but it really fit the scene of the story really well, and I really liked it, the idea of actually getting this article. And the last gift of the book was page 339, and it was such an emotional scene. I was so happy for them, because basically at this scene, the battle between Loving and Virginia was actually settled, and they passed a law that interracial marriages is acceptable, and that was such a good news to them, to Dr. Lucy and Calvin. As Dr. Lucy read the article and knew that this was happening, that it was like they actually passing this law that they could get married, she was so happy. She tried to call Calvin to speak to him, but no one was picking up the phone, so she was worried and everything. But in the end, it turned out that Calvin and his son were both coming to her, and when they met at the door, Calvin actually dropped on his knee and asked Dr. Lucy for her hand in marriage, if she would marry her. And this was the scene where it happened. And this is, like I said, page 339. And I am gonna start here. She stepped back from the doorway and Calvin came in. She instinctively stepped forward to embrace him, but before she could, he dropped it to one knee. Tears sprung to her eyes immediately. "Oh my," the two simple words came out, a hoarse whisper. She looked past him to Justin, who was still standing on her welcome mat, smiling. When she looked down again, Calvin had opened a small black velvet ring box and was holding it up for her to see. But the tears blurred her vision. "Lucilia Armstrong," he said, "I've come here to ask you to accept this simple ring and enter into an engagement to marry me." I know that may sound like a strange way to phrase a question, but here's my thinking. Under normal circumstances, two people spend a great deal of time together and then decide if they're each the right person for the other to marry. But we have that time stolen from us, so I'm asking you to begin an engagement in which we'll take that time back. And the end goal, of course, will be to marry, which, by the way, is legal in this state. So, that was I'm gonna put this sticky back on in a moment. So that was the last scene of this last gift. And of course, after reading that scene, what do you think I think this is? Of course, it's gonna be a black velvet ring box. And let's see what that ring would look like. Okay. And I was right. It's a black velvet ring box. And let's see. This is the ring. And it's an infinity ring that they choose. And I wonder if it's gonna fit any of my fingers. Okay, let's see. Oh! Yay! It actually fit! This one is bigger than the last ring that they made, or that they choose for the previous book. So it actually fit my ring finger. It's cute. It's a nice infinity ring. And that concludes this book and all the gifts in it. So I really enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to the next book that will be coming shortly. They should be mailing it sometime the beginning of next week. So I'm looking forward to my next book, and that's it. Bye.